Hi, my name is Ethan Green. I'm the son of the famous Bonnie Green, a professor at East Stroudsburg, who many of you may know of or have had. I live in Forks Township. It's around a 5-10 minute walk from Center City, Easton, and I've been there. I've lived there all of my life. I'm a rising senior at Moravian Academy. Some things I do there and was I'm the co-founder and president of the Computer Science Club. My friend Shahir and I thought it would be neat to start learning to code, so we started our freshman year, and we've been working through it all the way until the summer of our rising junior year, where we decided that it would be a good idea for Moravian to get a coding club, and we started it. We've had several speakers come. We've had hands-on experience coding. We've all had projects. Shahir and I worked on a artificial intelligence program. Very, very, very difficult. The textbook that I was given to just get a basic understanding of it was like this big. I'm not joking. It was insane. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's not something I'd want to do with my life, but it's definitely something that it's a good skill to have. Other things I do at Moravian is this year I'll be the captain of the cross country team. We have a fairly nice sized team. It's really a remarkable experience. It's nothing like I've ever done before. It's the camaraderie between not just my team but everyone. There are teams from rival teams, schools 30 minutes away, 5 minutes away. We all know each other because we go to the same meets. We all run with each other, and every meet we always pass the same people. We get passed by the same people, and it's just neat because um, it's really really rewarding. I pass people. People say good job, Ethan. People pass me. I say good job. It's just a really remarkable experience. I'm also on the lacrosse team. I'll be this year. I can't say if I'm a captain or not, but it's of course something that wouldn't be too bad. Of course, uh, leadership positions are always nice. This year we went to districts. We lost in the second round, but it was the first time in around 10 years that we went to districts. So just doing that is a success all by itself. Um, on the lacrosse team is where I got my first ever nickname ever. I went through at that point I went through almost 14 years of living and no one ever gave me a nickname. They always just called me Ethan. But when I went to Moravian, people called me Green or Greenie. So I don't mind being called that. I actually think it's kind of cool. I always wanted a nickname. But if you call me Ethan, that's perfectly fine. If you call me Green or Greenie, that's perfectly fine. If you want to call me something else, I'm up to interpretation on that. Go for it. Music. I I've taught myself how to play several instruments. The mandolin and bass are my favorite. I also got this thing recently. It's a bone flute. It's really cool. It makes a neat noise. I'd play it for you, but I don't want to hurt your ears. It's hard. It's actually deceptively hard to play, even though there are only three little holes and there's only a single scale you can play. It's very very difficult, but it's also rewarding. Listening to music, jazz, reggae, rock, really anything under the sun. My mom comes in and she hears me listening to Malaysian chants, uh, Nepalese music, anything really. I like all genres. I listen to everything. Some more academic pursuits. I've been heavily involved in science competition and presentations. I've competed in many, many, many science competitions and fairs. Um, so much so that my even my high school resume is exceedingly long. It's kind of deceptive how much time I put into it, but it's fun. It's rewarding, and I'm one of the few people who I know that actually find statistics fun. There's just something about science. It's just so rewarding, and I love it. Speaking of science, I worked with Dr. Chang. I believe it was it was my sophomore year. It's technically last year, but my sophomore year. and I presented at APS 2 posters that I worked with them, his research team, on implicit associations and attitudes towards disabled people and compassion. If you have any interest with that, just come and talk to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Really, any of my research, come talk to me about. I've done extensive research with volitional collapse and prions on physicians' belief, meaning that with my study, what I did was I was interested in seeing if, due to the rare incidence of prions and the overlap of some symptoms with volitional collapse, could prions be misdiagnosed by physicians and being overlooked as the potential potential killer that it could be. So I did extensive research with that. Um, my my next research project will actually be in my hometown of Easton. My father and I were walking through the Easton Cemetery, which is absolutely gorgeous around this time of year in the fall. Absolutely beautiful. And we were walking through the fall, and we both came across a statue of a man that we never saw before. Of course, it's been there for a long time. We just never noticed it, and it was a statue of a man named Trail Green, who was a professor and doctor around the Easton area. He had a private practice in Easton and was the president of Lafayette's College. I believe he was the president of Lafayette College. I know he was the dean of arts and sciences, I believe, or the equivalent back then. It was a whole lot longer than it is now, so I'm sure the terminology is different. But what he did was, during his private practice, he took meticulous notes of everything, and the volumes that he collected were called the Trail Green Papers. And in there, he wrote extensively on yellow fever and cholera during the outbreaks that occurred in Easton, and they are considered some of the best resources for understanding yellow fever and cholera. So what I want to do is find those papers. I've been in contact with numerous historical societies around the area, and access these papers and hopefully determine how yellow fever and cholera shaped Easton, Pennsylvania in its structure and culture. So that, well, I'm almost done, but here is my library. As you can see, we are absolutely filled to the brim with books on really anything that we could possibly need to read about.